morning or afternoon. It's still morning here where I live. So I am here to walk you through our order forms. Okay, so you should have gotten some of these in your kit. If you didn't get these, you can add them in your back office under supplies. They're pretty darn cheap. And you'll get a giant pack of them. If not, you can just print out a sheet in Excel or something that would be a similar thing. But you probably have these. So this is what we bring to home shows for people to fill out when they place the order. It's a triplicate, so there's 3 copies. There's the white copy that they write on, a yellow back, and a pink middle. The yellow is after they filled it out and paid and we're all set. I rip that off and I hand that to my customer. Say, there's your receipt. You'll see that where they would put, hey Bailey, where they would put their credit card and stuff information is going to be all, they can't see it on the second and third page. The pink copy is if you're having all the books shipped directly to your host and she's going to be sorting them, then I leave the pink copy there with the host so that she knows who each book goes to. And then the white copy is for your records. Okay, so now we'll go. That is just the basic overview of the copies, and now we'll talk about what we put on them. Okay, so I have them fill out their first name, their email, and their phone number, okay? I also want them to put the name of their hostess there, okay? I don't need their shipping information if they're just having it shipped together as a group. Side note, if they're wanting it to ship direct, like a grandma who's wants to send it to her grandkids, I actually go ahead and put that order in on e-commerce, because if we ship direct through on Order Pro, when we're putting on Order Pro, they get charged a $6 flat rate shipping plus 8%. So that's going to be more than if you go on e-commerce. So side note, if somebody says, can I just have these shipped directly to so-and-so in Whereversville? Yes, it's $6 shipping up to $75 in books. That's the same as e-commerce. So I just go ahead, even if they fill this out, I go put it through on e-commerce. So anyways, that's like, I don't need this information. Their host knows how to get a hold of them. This information is if they do want it shipped somewhere else and I'm putting it in later. That's the address. You need their address and the next address. Here we have where they're going to put their full retail books in, and the shaded area is for customer specials, okay? So for full retail books, what you need is the book title. It'll ask for the page. I don't, like, sometimes people, they're good rule followers, they'll put both. I don't need both. What I really, really need is a correct item number. So where do you find that item number? It's either on the back of the book if they're looking at an actual book there. It's the last 6 of the ISBN there. So for this book, it would be 677622. I don't know if it'll zoom on that. Or if they're looking at the catalog, it's the bold numbers in the catalog. So that's an easy way to communicate with them, to say if you want that lift the flap shapes, oh, the number I need are the ones that are in bold there. So for that shapes books, I just need that 534073. You can put dashes or not. I don't need those. And that's an easy way for them to fill it out. Or if you're filling out for yourself, you don't need the first half of those numbers, okay? So make your life easier. You're then going to put the quantity in, the price, and then the total amount. If the quantity is 1, then you can just put total amount because it's the same. If they're getting 10 all betters, then it would be quantity 1, price $12.99, and then it would be $129.99. Okay? So, okay, hi, you gotta go. Thank you. Mom life. So then we're going to put all the books in there, and you're going to add it up. If they have customer specials, it's easier for you to put them in the gray area because that's easier later for you to find them. Because the way we enter them in Order Pro is it's like a different screen, so I know to go back and find all my customer specials. And then you're going to have enter, this is payment info here, okay, how they're going to pay, like credit card, if they give you cash or a check. Okay, so now the math part. This is what scares people. It doesn't have to be scary, okay? So what you do for the math part is you add, for subtotal, you add up all these numbers together. I just use the calculator on my phone. And then you add 8% shipping. So you multiply that number by 0.08. So if you have $100, which we all know won't add up to 100, but we're just keeping it simple, because our 99 ends, that would be $8 shipping. And then ignore the direct delivery, because if you're doing that, you're just going to go online. Remember that. And so your new subtotal is this 100, or whatever your original subtotal is, plus the 8% shipping. So for my example, that would be 108. You need to look up what your tax is. Now, depending on where you're having these rewards books shipped, that's what you're being charged on. So if it's being shipped to you, generally I have home party books shipped to me, and I divide them up for my hosts and then drop them off at my host's house just for good customer service. So it's my local tax rate. But if I'm doing a home party that is like really inconvenient for me to go to, or I'm leaving town or whatever, and I'm shipping direct to my host, if she is not in the same county, whatever area as you, you need to look up her tax rate. How do you find that? Google is your friend here. You can just Google tax rate for, look up her address with her zip code, tax rate for in that zip code, and it'll pop up an address. Sometimes there'll be multiple sales tax rates for a zip code, depending if it's in like a city boundary or not. So you might have to enter the whole address to find out, because I know that's like where I live. I live outside of the city limits, but I have the same zip code as in the city limits, so my tax rate is actually like 0.5% less, so I am able to charge that. Because anyway, so that's just something you can totally Google even after you get to your party. Oh shoot, just if you have a smartphone, just Google that sucker. So you're gonna add, so this is another tricky thing, depending on what state you live in. Some states you have to tax the shipping fee, and some states you do not tax the shipping fee. How do you know if you live in one of those states? On this little order form, do you see this? It's not going to focus, but do you see all these like listed? These are state abbreviations. The following states, you don't tax shipping, okay? So California, I live in California, that's on there. So we don't tax shipping if you live in Alaska, Alabama, Arizona, California, Colorado, and so on. So that's how you know. If your state is not on there, then you figure the tax based on that new subtotal number. But for me, we don't tax shipping, so I tax that first subtotal number. So my tax rate is, so for me it's 7.25. So I would do 7.25 times that 100. And then, so I'm adding 8, so now I have 8% shipping. I add my tax percent and subtotal. That is the total. Now, if you've given any perks like free shipping, you can do that at home parties, or $5 off, or those kind of things. You just subtract it from there, and you just don't charge them that, and you cover that at the end. So, are you thoroughly confused? I hope not. It doesn't need to be super confusing. Your team leader can walk you through it again if you are confused, or you can rewatch this over and over. So here's like from a home party. This was one customer. Let me just show you why I love home parties. This is one customer here. We use 3 pages for all her orders. This is one customer, okay? So what I did is I did a subtotal on each page to make it easier, and then I added all the subtotals on the last page. So you can see here, I comped her shipping. You buy $300 full retail from me at a home party, I got your shipping, girl. So, but that 302 was from those 3 order forms. See where I added those together as 3 order forms, just the tax and then her total. So I have, this is a cleaner copy. She filled this out. So item number, quantity, total. Okay? So hopefully you aren't too crazy confused. And now I am going to hop off of this and share my idea of how to book more parties. So thanks for joining me, and watch this again if that was confusing.